All right, we are live. Hello out there in YouTube land. I am Ty Johnston. I am the Dungeon Master and host tonight for another Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition gaming session for the Unnamed Adventurers Guild. And tonight where I'm at, and during this time anyway, we've got a couple of adventurers with us. The guild has been contracted by one Captain Shinfistle, who is actually the captain and owner of multiple whaling vessels, and apparently he's lost 3 of his ships lately. They've been actually attacked by whales, and multiple whales working together. And this is very un-whale-like activity. So the captain has contracted the guild to find out what's going on. He obviously thinks there's something, whether it's magic or some kind of outside entity or super smart alien whales from the future, or something's going on. And Captain Shinfistle has offered to take out one of his sailing ships, one of his smaller whaling vessels, with a crew of 20. He's offered that to the guild if they want to go out and investigate that way, but he's willing to listen to other options. So, who do we have with us tonight, as far as characters go?
I'm Caius, and I'm playing Stoic Iron Skull, the dwarven, balding cleric of Ilmater, who, when he hears about the mission, comes along to the guild hall drunk, to listen to drunk and slightly pale-faced, to listen to the mission described and wish the adventurers well.
Yeah, no good sober dwarf would probably want to go out to sea.
Oh, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm just here to. There are things down at there's a nasty case of jail rot still in the jail that I in my conscience I can't leave it. So I'll just have to stay. But I'll just have to stay here in Illumina. But I've come down to wish you well and see you aboard anyway.
Well, unfortunately, the guild really wants you to go, Stoic, since the only other guild member who's shown up is Matthew. Who are you playing tonight?
I'm playing Helm Grey Castle, the guy who's on his way to become a legendary hero.
Well, and there's no, you're just going to be inhibited by a dwarf if being a legendary hero. And he sort of mutters it, but I'll give you I'll bless your journey and give you your last rites. I mean, your best wishes for the trip. And he'll stagger down to the port, sort of wishing him well, say a little prayer to Ilmater before following the fearless Helm on board, and
one thing you should know about Helm is wearing heavy armor. So.
Oh well, crazy fool.
Yeah.
And what is Stoic wearing?
Stoic will. Stoic's not going on the journey, but before he climbs on board to give his blessings and his best wishes to Helm, he'll sort of struggle out of his chainmail and sling it over his shoulder, stagger up the boarding plank, and start wishing the guy well, wishing the guy well, blessing the ship, and then start feeling sick whilst they're still moored on the port, lie down and just sleep it off under a mast.
Yeah, he's probably going to start feeling especially sick when the ship starts moving.
Oh yes.
Helm is in heavy armor. He's in splints. But he has his adventurer's pack, he has his greatsword, and he has this big, massive something wrapped in cloth around him.
Well, I'll show you guys. Let's see. This is Illumina, and the wharf where you guys are going to get on board the ships. Can you see this?
Just round the corner from Broken Bridge, where we had the.
Yes, it is. In fact, you would have passed the harbor master's place. Was not too far away, but yeah, the wharf is up here where the ships are. And actually, the funny thing is, you will sail north, even though the sea you're going to is the south. And the reason you'll sail north, let me see if I can share something else. Come on. Let's cooperate here. Well, is you actually connect, you'll go north a little ways for a few hours, and then you actually connect with a larger river, which takes you down into the Demon Sea. And you guys have been on the edge of the Demon Sea because a couple of adventures ago you were right over here.
Yep.
So down in here is where they've been having the whaling problems of late. And Stoic, when you wake up, you find you are on a ship that's going back and forth.
Oh,
and it's probably been a good while. It's probably been about 8 hours, and you're just going out into the sea as you wake up. And you'll find you've been covered with like a spare tarp somebody laid on top of you. And Helm, during roughly the 8 hours on board the river, you'll notice there has been some other river traffic, but most of it's been pretty smaller vessels.
Helm actually has something he's going to do in the downtime he has.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been hearing so much about this great monk warrior that's on a pilgrimage for more training in the deep forest that he's going to make him a little present. He's got these bracers that he's going to that the monk can wear that that will have spikes on the knuckles, so when he punches, he'll punch spikes into his enemies.
Okay.
So he's going to use his smith tools to work on that.
Okay. Yeah, he can be doing that. And the vessel you're on is a sailing ship, and I'm maybe repeating myself a little bit, but it's not it's a big ship, but it's not like a huge galley or a warship. It does have on either side of it, so there's two of them, are like long keel boats. They could probably hold about 7 people, give or take. And they're low, but there's 2 of those, and then in the back there are 2 small, kind of like escape pods. 2 small rowboats. Each one could probably hold about 3, maybe 4 people, depending on the size of the people involved. But besides yourself, there is Captain Shinfistle, and he's got a crew of about 20. And for the most part, the crew has pretty much been ignoring you because, well, Stoic has been out of it, and Helm has been busy working away. Every now and then somebody will kind of give you the eye, Helm, kind of like they're interested in whatever you're doing. And Captain Shinfistle might come by every once in a while, just kind of to check on things. And Captain Shinfistle is a human. He's tall. He's not really burly, but he's definitely strong looking. He's an older man with a grayish beard, and he wears a little captain's hat and a long coat. There are as far as armaments on board ship, you really don't see too many. There are the back of the ship. There's a small aft castle, which is kind of where the captain's quarters are. And on the outside, in the walls, there's a few harpoons there, and you will hear the crew occasionally talk about some heavy crossbows, but there's nothing like catapults or trebuchets or anything like that, which are not uncommon for whaling vessels necessarily. Yeah. But you don't see anything like that. But then again, this is for a whaling ship, this is a somewhat small one, though it's still a good size ship. Let's see. And like I said, it takes about 8 hours to get down to the ocean. Let's see. I'm writing down some stats here that I forgot to write down earlier. And the ship doesn't move quite as fast as you would think it would or it should, or maybe the captain's holding back a little bit. There is plenty of cargo space down below for storing, well, basically for storing whale parts if it comes up. And you will notice that the crew is fine. Helm will definitely notice the difference since he was awake. You'll know the crew was fine while they were on the river, but the second they start pulling out into the Demon Sea, they seem to get a little nervous. Eyes start going to the horizon. They're definitely glancing over, looking at the water, into the water, more than usual. And Captain Shinfistle will kind of come over to where Stoic is waking up, and he doesn't kick you, but he does kind of nudge you with the toe of one of his boots. And so, Dwarf, you finally decided to join us?
Oh, I've been shanghaied. I've been taken by pirates. And I start swearing in Dwarvish as I sort of stagger to my feet.
I return. I say back to him in Dwarvish, keep it clean.
And I say, I'm always clean, and then I throw up.
And in Dwarvish, Captain Shinfistle will say, do that over the side, or clean it up yourself. And don't go around calling us pirates. Men have been killed for less. Dwarves have been killed for less.
My apologies. I'm not staggering to the side.
And while you're doing that, he has something in his hand, and he's kind of like, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? Will that help settle your stomach?
Oh, no, I just need to get rid of some of yesterday's drink.
And he takes out a dagger, and right in front of you, he cracks open a live oyster and slides it down his throat. Sure you don't want something to eat?
It's a bit exotic for my breakfast, I say. Maybe Helm. The big guy.
I'm good. I'm not a big fan of raw stuff.
Not too bad. It says it really makes the ladies like you.
I'm good.
I've been married 4 times. I should know. All right. Well, gentlemen, we're out here. We've got the great blue wide yonder in front of us if we don't die today.
So what's the plan? Shouts Stoic to Captain Flint Whistle?
Shin Whistle, or Shin Thistle.
Shin Fizzle. A bit too loudly.
Let's see. I'll actually write it in the chat if it helps any. He's like, the plan was I hire you guys, we go out in the ship, when we're attacked by whales, you kill all of them. That was my plan.
That's basically the plan of whalers everywhere. Well, I suppose the whales don't usually attack. It's you who's doing the hunting, but it's been reversed.
Usually, there has been known to be a,
I'm just scanning the other crew members whilst we're having this conversation to see how they're reacting to this, what they're looking like.
They're still slightly nervous, like I said, looking into the water and out along the horizon, probably more when they should be paying a little more attention to what they're doing. But they do kind of look to Stoic and Helm. When they sort of glance in your guys' direction, it's almost like there's a little gleam of hope in their eyes, like you guys are going to do something about this. And Captain Shinfistle will say, he's like, I've lost 3 ships out here. 2 of them my large galleys. I don't know if you gentlemen can appreciate how many tens of thousands of gold that has cost me. So I'm running out of ships. So I need something done about this situation. In the past, occasionally a wild bull elephant, will turn on us and attack when we're dealing with them, but usually they don't. But lately, it's like as soon as we show up, we're surrounded by 3 or 4 whales, and they attack us. And these aren't like your little whales like they have up in the northern seas. These are like big sperm whales. And oddly enough, all they really attack are the main ships. Like, we've really not lost that many crew members. Because whenever they hop into the rowboats or our keelboats and try to escape, they're usually pretty much ignored. The whales are just focusing on the main ships.
The big ships.
Yeah. And with that many whales, yeah, sometimes it takes them a little while, but they can definitely take a ship down. And, we've fought back. I've got experience.
How do you fight? What do you fight with? I say, looking around the ship. How do you kill a whale?
Well, generally, we set out in the keelboats with harpoons and jab them until they bleed to death, for the most part. Sometimes we use crossbows. Some of the larger ships, we'll have some heavy weaponry on there that we use for some of the larger whales sometimes. But these whales recently have proved a little too, one, maybe a little too smart for that, and maybe a little too vicious for that. And again, there's been more of them. Usually, most of the time when we're whale hunting, even if there's a pack, as soon as we pick one and attack it, the rest of the whales run away and flee. Now we've got 3 or 4 huge, giant sperm whales that are surrounding us and attacking us all at once. And that's just, whales just don't do that. So I don't know what's going on, what's happened, what's changed. But
have you any idea on this, Helm?
I've never been on the seas, so I have no idea.
I come from a seafaring family because one of my ancestors went on a ferry once across the river, but I have little experience of whales.
At hearing this, the captain kind of slaps his face and runs his hand down. They've sent me a couple of landlubbers. Great. I was hoping.
I'll just go downstairs and check how you've stowed the hold. I say, sort of staggering off, looking slightly green.
Don't throw up down there.
No. I don't throw up. I'm a dwarf. Um, iron constitution, I say. Uh, staggering my way down. But I am curious to see. I'll see how they've stowed the hold. What kind of? I mean, I guess they've got sort of barrels and things like that for the the whale blubber and whale meat.
Yeah.
Salt for the meat and things. I'm just seeing if I can spot anything that looks out of place, or if there's anything down in the hold that I wouldn't expect.
Give me an investigation roll.
I don't think I find anything.
Okay. You're right, especially since you're not a seaman.
7.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary that you wouldn't expect to be down here. Yeah, you do find there's definitely plenty of barrels. A number of them are empty. Some of them have salt. You'll find some salted fish, some hard biscuits. You will find a couple of small barrels of rum.
No, I won't open a barrel of rum, but I'm very happy to sample. I'm very happy to sample one once they've opened one. I'll ask if I can have an empty barrel, to just for my own use at the moment.
The captain wants to know what you're wanting to do with the barrel.
It's when times get bad, it's a buoyancy aid.
Well, it helps.
You can have it back when we get back to port.
Well, I would suggest if things get that bad that you hop into one of the rowboats or maybe a keelboat, because barrels in the water have a tendency to kind of flip over, especially when the people inside them are wearing heavy armor.
Oh, I'm not wearing heavy armor. My plan is actually to seal my heavy armor in a barrel, and have it sealed so it'll float if the ship goes down or things go over the side.
Yeah, you can do that. They've got a
so I put my chainmail. I put my chainmail in a barrel, seal it with wax or whatever they seal them with, and
they've got
mark it with my own sort of woven symbol so I can recognise it, and have it stowed, lashed up somewhere on deck so it'll float free if the ship happens to go down.
The crew does kind of look at you like you're weird.
Nothing weird about a dwarf taking precautions.
And about the time, Helm, do you want to be doing anything while he's sealing away his armor?
No, I don't have anything to do.
The captain will ask you, well, gentlemen, in case we do run into trouble, beforehand, I'd like to know sort of your plan of action. Are you wanting to stay here on the ship, or do you want to go down on one of the keel boats, which is what we normally do when we're trying to fight whales or attacking whales?
Oh, how close do they get to the ship?
They get right up to the ship, but a lot of times they come from underneath, and they're not all that easy to hit from up here. They're big, but they're in the water, and it's probably at least 20 feet, maybe 30, depending on the swell of the water, the waves, from the deck to the sea level.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a small boat.
Yeah, we'll need a small boat.
Okay,
if I can take a sailor to just sort of Yes, yeah, obviously I'm a dwarf. I know how to row, but just to remind, it's been a while, just to remind me on some of the finer techniques in pulling, which direction I should sit in, and how
Uh,
which one of the oars to pull on first.
one of the sailors will come over and say, "Okay, this is what you need to do. This is a keel boat." He walks to the side of the deck where there's tied up, kind of hanging there, but tied down, is this long, about 10-foot low boat, and he'll say, "This can normally hold about 7 people. We can squeeze in 1 or 2 more if we absolutely have to, but it's not safe. When it's time for you to get into this boat, what you need to do is climb over into the boat, sit down right here in the middle, and then let us handle everything else."
Oh, that sounds fair enough. That sounds fair enough.
And once we lower you into the water, don't worry, some of us will be with you. Once we are lowered into the water and down, whenever you see a whale that comes close, stab it.
Got you. Got you.
And if all of us should die, well, I hope you know how to swim long distances.
Oh, I'm a great at distance, and I worship Ilmater, god of endurance. I can keep going. My god gives me strength to keep going.
Oh,
I have a question for you.
okay.
How fast can someone take off heavy armor in water?
Not fast enough.
Probably not fast enough. Let's see. What kind of armor do you have again?
I have splint.
Splint armor. Well, I know that. It takes about 5 minutes. That's probably just long enough to drown. Splint's heavy armor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes about 5 minutes to take it off. You can drop your shield in one action, though I don't think you use a shield.
Nope.
You can borrow mine if you want to drop a shield.
Yeah, that's just one action. You can let that go.
Is it a free? It's a free action, isn't it? Oh no, to take off a shield is an action, I guess.
I believe, yeah, it's one regular action
Okay.
for a shield. But, if you don't jump into the water in your armor, you don't have to worry about it.
No, I'm just wondering if I get knocked off.
Yes, wearing heavy armor. You're heavy armor at sea. Are you wearing it at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a very brave man. I've always known you were brave.
Yeah, the sailors would suggest, well, if you're going to wear that heavy armor, tie yourself to a mast or to a railing or something.
I'm not going near the sides. I'm staying in the middle of the boat, but I'm wearing the armor.
Okay. Now they will suggest still tying yourself off somewhere. If the whole ship goes down, you probably would drown anyway. So at that point, it won't matter.
But at sea, I mean, there's tilting decks and all sorts.
Yeah, there's definitely things like that, or if they get hit with a big wave squall or something.
The decks are slippy. Decks are covered in water, slippery at an angle. It's not a very good surface for moving about on. It's not like walking on solid land.
That's true. That's true. It's definitely not. And right about that, you guys are still inside of land, just barely. You can see land to the north. And Stoic, you've just sealed up your barrel. And suddenly someone up in the crow's nest shouts out, "Whales spotted to the south."
I go for the boat that we're going to take, and I get in there quickly.
And as soon as you start moving towards that boat, suddenly there is a big, oh, good gosh, there is a big crunching sound from below, and the whole ship lifts up into the air about 10 feet and then comes crashing back down, and water sprays all over the place. And you guys should probably make dexterity rolls, because people are being thrown around all over the place.
That wasn't good. That was 6.
Right. Let's have a look. Oh, 14.
Okay, Stoic, you're okay. Helm, you've kind of lost your footing. I mean, you're still standing up, but your feet are sliding as water is splashing across the deck, and you see yourself sliding towards the edge of the ship. There is a good railing there, and there's a couple of ropes hanging here and there, so you can make a grab if you want to.
Athletics?
If you want, sure.
Yeah. Oh, that was much better. But I get a +6, so 13.
Okay, you kind of slam into the railing. It knocks the breath out of you a little bit, but you manage to wrap your hands and arms around it and hold on. But literally, like I said, the whole ship was lifted up about 10 feet, comes crashing down. Water splashes. You guys are covered in salt water.
Can I hand over hand move along the railing to the boat?
Yeah, and you're almost to it anyway. The keel boats are really long, so you don't have to go far. And you hear a bellowing sound from beneath you that it kind of sounds like a really loud, like horn, like something you'd hear going into battle on a battlefield. And following
I yelled to Stoic, I need you to get over here now.
I start sort of crab-like moving my way towards the boat.
Okay. And sailors and the captain are kind of rushing around, tying ropes down and things like that.
As I'm moving, I'm saying a prayer to Ilmater to give myself guidance.
Okay. And a few of the sailors are starting to move in your all's direction towards the keel boat.
When I get in the keel boat, I'm going to take out my rope and tie me to the boat.
Okay. Yeah, there's I forget what they're called, but there's like little cleats. There's like cleats along the side. You can definitely tie yourself to a couple of those. And while you're doing that, you hear another large splashing beneath you, and you can look over, and coming up out of the water from beneath the ship, you see the head of a whale. And it's a large sperm whale. Think Moby Dick, except not white. It's gray. You see the head of that come up out of the water, and the spout shoots up water that covers the deck and will cover Helm again in the keel boat. And then this whale takes off to the south at a fast speed. And you can see pieces of wood, like lumber, floating around in the water. And one of from below decks up runs a sailor, and he rushes over to the captain. He's like, "Captain, we've taken damage below decks. It's nothing our pumps can't handle at the moment. But another good solid hit like that, and we could be in trouble." Excuse me.
After I finish time to myself, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging my best. I pull off the clothing on my back. I put it on me. I pull the cloth, and it just falls away, revealing the weapon I made.
Okay.
And I just sort of pick it up just give it a one good swing around in my hand and rest it on my shoulder because it's 7 foot long, so I can't. I can really only rest it on my shoulder. Otherwise, it's way too big to do anything else.
For anyone who might be watching and doesn't know what kind of weapon it is, could you give a description of it?
It was made from mixing a greatsword blade and the stick part of a halberd. So it has a really big blade on it and it's long and it has a counterweight because of how big it is. The blade itself is made about 3.5 feet. The stock is about 3.5, and there's a little counterweight on the made from solid metal to keep it from being totally, just keep falling frontward. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's
okay.
Yeah.
And you guys can still see the whale going off to the south, and it looks like he's joining some buddies.
I'll look around for other whales and try and work out from how they're swimming how long it will be until the next one attacks.
Give me a perception roll.
While swearing at the lookout for not seeing the first whale coming until it was just there. 11, I think.
Okay. Still, you're not you're a landlubber. You would guess the other whales could probably be to you in about 5 minutes. And you're not 100% sure, but you think there's 3 more large whales out there swimming around. And their buddy joining them will make 4. And it'll also occur to you that maybe the guy up in the crow's nest didn't see this whale coming because it came from directly below. So it must have been under the water for a good little amount of time. But other...
Well, if that's so, it's very intelligent, this whale. But maybe they're intelligent enough. They are big.
Could be. Or have some kind of guidance or something.
Yeah. Yeah, suspicious.
So, Helm, you're in a keel boat. You will be joined by 4 other sailors who grab some harpoons and some heavy crossbows and get in. And Stoic, are you getting into the keel boat?
I'm in the keel boat and I'm stuffing my pipe and trying to smoke a last pipe before we go down.
Unfortunately, just to make things worse for you, all your pipeweed is soaking wet.
Despite my my oilskin pipe tobacco.
Yes, unfortunately. Maybe if you dig down way to the bottom, there might be a little bit of dry.
I'll still be battling against damp tinder and just occupying my brain and my concentration doing this anyway.
You can eventually get it to go, but it's not a really good, strong, heavy smoke. It's kind of like you have to keep puffing to keep it going.
And he's muttering prayers. Ilmater, give me strength. Ilmater, give me endurance to continue and see me through this.
Then again, you may, I don't know, you may have a cantrip that would do something to like dry your pipeweed out somehow.
It's actually just for dressing. It's not too important.
Oh, okay.
I am starting to cast a ritual spell, but if they're here in 5 minutes, I won't have time. But
they don't seem to be moving closer. In fact, the 3 seem to be staying out like they're waiting on their pal to show up. Or to get to them.
Well, if 10 minutes passed, then I'll actually have got my pipe going, and I'll be watching these whales warily and suggest
crew members on board the ship lower you all down into the water. So it's the 2 of you plus 4 more sailors in long keelboat.
As we get lowered, um, I say to Stoic and them, uh, I know they are no match for us. I may be strong, but together we are stronger, and we will defeat all those who try and destroy us.
At this, the 4 sailors that are on the keelboat with you all kind of look at you like you're crazy.
But no, his words carry weight, don't they? Whilst he's imploring us.
Can I use persuasion to try and make him feel inspired?
Sure.
Ooh, that was a 6.
Oh, they still look at you like you're crazy. Yes, one of them will say, yes, his words have weight, just like his armor, which will sink him all the way to the bottom of the ocean. And a couple of them will get out oars, and one of them's manning a tiller in the back, and they will turn and start heading towards the whales. It will take them, if the whales stay where they're at, it will take them a good lot longer than 5 minutes to get there. They can't move nearly as fast as the whales can.
Yeah.
But far out, the one whale that hit the ship seems to be gathering with his buddies, and they're kind of, best you can tell, they're kind of swimming around one another at a moment, and then they kind of split up and go individually, and they come in a little closer. They're maybe a mile out from the ship, maybe, but now they are starting to circle the ship. And
see if you can close in on one.
They're heading towards the nearest one, and you two will also notice that back on the ship, the captain now has out a shoot, what's it called?
Harpoon?
It's we would call it a telescope.
Flag of surrender?
No. We would call it a telescope, but in the game it's not called that.
Looking glass.
Yes.
An eye. Yeah.
An eyepiece, basically. He's got that out and open. And now I want to know what it's called, because I know it's in the rule book. Because it's actually quite expensive. A spyglass. Yes. It costs 1,000 gold. That's pretty expensive, and probably explains why he didn't give you guys one. But he's got one out, and he's looking along, following, and then he'll say, "There's a 5th one. It's further out than all the others and smaller, but it seems to be keeping its distance."
Just try to get close to any of them at the moment, I say.
Yeah.
Okay.
My great halberd has reached, so I don't have to be right next to them to hit them.
Okay. After some little bit, combat in the ocean tends to go kind of slow because the distances, or slowest time wise anyway, because the distances. After about 10 minutes or so, you guys are trying to shoot towards one of the whales as fast as you can. One of the, not the one you're going towards, but one of the other sperm whales turns inward from its circling, and it's starting to head towards the ship.
Could on our path, or if we change our path, could we intersect its route? I mean,
yeah. One of the sailors will say, yes, if we hurry up and change direction right now, we should be able to get to it before it gets to the ship.
Go for it.
So they'll do the things they got to do and shift around and start heading towards it. And it takes a good 5 minutes to get to this whale, but part of it is above the water. And pretty much it seems to be ignoring you all. but it's coming straight ahead, and you'll get to it. I'm not even going to really do initiative, but Helm, because you've got reach, you can probably.
Well, mine's going to be a spell at 30 feet.
Oh,
if I
okay. We'll go ahead and
can first.
get your spell off then.
My spell is actually just I blow smoke across the water, and it shows up different colors with magic. And I'm trying to see if they've been enchanted. This whale.
Oh,
If there's any
okay.
kind of enchantment on it, or some kind of magic or spell on it to cause it to act strangely.
You do not detect any magic on it.
Okay. And then over to Helm. He'll be the next to act.
Yeah, you can. Since you've got reach, you can get attack it as it's going by. And really, all you see is the front end of the whale's head.
I got a 13.
That is enough to hit.
Ooh, max damage. I got 16.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I don't have proficiency, so I don't get to add my strength modifier, so it's just 12.
Oh, okay. Well, still, your weapon jabs into the back of it, and a spurt of blood comes up and mixes with the water. And as you're doing that, one other sailor is going to try to take a poke at it with a javelin, and he does jab into the side of it right below your hit, where you hit. And another one's going to try to shoot at it with a heavy crossbow. But unfortunately, he misses, and his bolt just goes off into the water.
And I call down a bolt, a silvery bolt from above. It must make a dex save, DC 13.
Okay. It does not make it.
So it takes 5 points damage, 5 points of radiant damage.
Okay. You guys will be able to get one more attack on it before it goes past you.
I have a range of 60 feet with this one. So,
okay, so you may be able to get some more off then. But it is moving really fast. But it's also big. So it's kind of, you hit it in the head, now you can sort of get it more along the back end. Helm, you want to take another jab at it?
Yeah, I got a modded 20.
Okay, that'll be a hit.
That'll be a 3.
That's your damage?
Yep.
Okay, you still cut it some. There's a good little bit of water, or blood in the water. Stoic, you want to hit it?
Another dex save for it. DC 13.
Did not make it.
So it takes another 8 points of radiant.
Okay. And it's flying along, so it's going to... I mean, it's literally moving 80 feet per turn.
Okay, it'll be out of my range then.
Yeah, so it gets out of your range, and...
Even its tail will be out of my range, I guess, or will it?
No, you can probably get the tail.
I'll do a last blast at the tail.
Okay. Did not make it again.
So it takes another 7 points damage.
Okay. There's a goodly amount of blood in the water around you guys, and the sailors are trying to turn your ship to follow after the whale, but there's no way, as fast as this thing's going, that
I'm watching the others. I'm watching the other whales in the distance. Especially the one that was furthest off.
The other whales are keeping their distance and still circling the ship. And surprisingly, the one you guys attacked, it goes about another 100 feet, and it's like it's heading straight towards the ship, but then it veers off and goes away. maybe it got scared because you guys did so much damage to it. Like I said, there is quite a bit of blood in the water, and several of the sailors on the ship, and even a couple that are with you guys, like throw their hands up in the air and are hooping and hollering and doing that sort of thing.
Maybe we should aim for what seems to be the leader that's watching from afar. If we take out the leader, then the rest might run away.
It's strange. It is strange behaviour.
One of the sailors will say, "Well, we can do that. It'll probably give these other big guys a few chances to attack the ship, the Matilda, but you know, it's a pretty solid ship. It takes a lot to sink one, so it's probably not likely with a couple more hits that they'd be able to take it down that fast. So if you want to go after this main one, we can.
As you like. I'm a bit out of my element here. I don't know what I'm doing.
Usually in combat, if you take out the leader, the rest will follow.
Well, and you saw what direction the captain pointed when he said there was another one further out. So the sailors are like, "Is that what you guys want to do then?"
Yeah, we're not going to get very far if we keep trying to hit all the whales.
Okay. They will turn away from the ship and the other whales and will start heading basically further out to sea towards the south. And it's a good long, slow row. And you definitely, from where you're at, can see that the other...
will it take longer than 5 minutes to get there?
Yes. It'll
okay,
take...
I'm going to take off my armor.
Okay, yeah, it'll take like a half hour to get there, where this other whale is. And meanwhile, the other whales continue. You can see this from the distance. The other whales continue
Still,
to...
hold on to this, and with two hands, I put out my weapon for him to hold on to.
I'll sort of stagger around with it, sort of...
It's not that heavy. It's only like 15 pounds.
Okay. But I've been staggering everywhere I've been. I've been staggering around when it's just me.
The ship, the attack on the ship does continue, and you hear in the distance crunches, and you can see the ship getting knocked back and forth. But it does seem to be holding up. And a couple of times the sailors that are still on board do seem to manage to drive away one or two of the whales by combined heavy crossbow fire. It seems from what you can tell that these whales, once they take enough damage to really start bleeding good and heavy, it's kind of like they get a little scared and go off. Like they don't want to fight this to the death, but you also do notice after about a half hour of your on board, looking back at the ship, which seems really far away now, it is kind of canted to one side now.
This thing and
yes, but it is up and does still have. Seems like it's still mobile. But the whale you guys are moving towards, the closer you get to it, once you're, let's say about 100 yards from it, it's kind of swimming slowly back and forth. And it is another sperm whale. And at first it looks really small. I mean, like really small compared to other whales, like maybe the size of a wagon, let's say, almost like a baby whale or something. Once you get within about 100 yards of it, that smaller whale goes down under the water. And the sailors with you guys kind of stop the boat moving forward for a second, like they don't know what to do. And then back where the small whale was, suddenly rising up out of the water is a much bigger whale. It's this one's a full-size adult whale, and it has kind of like ropes have been tied around its body. And the reason for these ropes is obvious, because standing on this whale's back is a figure, and the ropes are kind of like there to help hold this figure in place. And this figure is about 4 feet tall, got a really short beard, it's wearing leather armor, it's got a little green hat on with a red feather in it. And it's holding on to its hat. Water's just dripping off of it, and it's holding on to its hat. And
does it look like Claude?
Oh, it definitely looks like Claude. And
I yelled to the sailors, "Quick! We need to cut the ropes fast. We need to get there double time."
They try to. Let's see. They're trying to move forward faster, but they're kind of disconcerted because the small whale disappeared. Now this really huge whale disappeared, and there's this weird little guy in the back of tied in the back of the whale. And once the whale comes up, and Claude is sitting there, one hand is like this, and the other hand's holding his hat on. And as soon as he gets above water, he like gasps, and he's like, "Oh!" And then he kind of pats the whale and reaches down and pats it with one of his hands, and he's like, "You sure took long enough." He's like, "It took long enough to get up here to air again." And like I said, you guys are probably within a couple of 100 feet now, give or take, if you've got a spell or a weapon that goes that far or anything.
Claude, you vegan dwarf and mutant.
He's looking around me. He's not looking at you. He's like, "Somebody knows my name. I'm famous."
I pick up one of the crossbows.
Okay, there's a loaded one there.
I fire it.
Okay, roll to hit.
I botched.
Okay, your bolt goes on over his head. He kind of looks up at it, and then he looks it over where it came from. He's like, "You guys! You tried to kill me!"
No. Eros tried to kill you.
Well, whatever. You were with Eros. You guys drove those poor innocent little horses into that pool of muck and guck and everything with me on board the wagon.
That was not my idea. I was trying to get Eros to stop.
Oh, right. Sure. Well, fortunately, there was a little undercurrent that pulled me out into the ocean, and I almost drowned. But then my new friends here saved me. And now it's my turn. It's my turn to save them. So, are you guys here to help me save the whales?
I reload the crossbow as my action.
He reaches down and pets the whale again and kind of says something low that you guys can't hear. And the whale kind of slowly turns and points in your all's direction. It stays still 100 feet off, and the sailors are getting more and more nervous, like, okay, so you guys know this crazy whale guy? Should we continue forward, or should we get the heck out of here? What's going on?
We need to go forward.
Obey the helm.
I fire the crossbow again.
Okay, go ahead.
Who's the helmsman? Who's the helm? Helm.
12.
That will just miss him.
Mm.
The bolt goes by him, and he kind of ducks, and then he like holds up his fist. And he looks down at the whale. He's like, "Eat them!" And at that point, the whale barrels forward at full speed.
Oof.
So I will say
I'm dropping the crossbow and I'm picking up my great halberd.
okay. Well, we can go into rounds, I suppose now. Oh, well, the bad guys suck.
Sure, I get all my high dice when I'm trying to test to see if I should switch it out or not.
And what did? Okay.
15.
Okay. Well, Stoic, it's right at 100 feet away because it's just starting its movement. But you've got first action.
Right then, if I've got first action and it's 100 feet away, the other one moved about 80 feet in a round.
Yes.
So I'll
Unless you got a wrong range spell, I suggest you hold.
There is another heavy crossbow sitting there that's loaded. I'll point that out just in case somebody wants to grab it.
I'll grab the heavy crossbow. Oh no, a heavy crossbow I can't use. I'm not proficient in, so I won't try it. I'll just actually I'll call forth this my red belt glows with a red energy and streaks off across the ocean, striking at Claude. So it's a guiding bolt.
Okay.
It's got a range of 120. So.
Oh, okay.
It's an attack roll, I think. So.
I believe it is.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can do. So, but it zooms past him.
Okay, it splashes and flashes into the water in front of them before it gets there. Comes up short. Helm, it's now your turn.
I'm gonna hold.
Okay. It's their turn, and the whale moves forward 80 feet until it's 20 feet from you guys. And it's barreling, heading right towards the front of the ship, or not even ship, the boat. And all the while, Claude is holding up one hand, one fist, and shaking it like this. And he's screaming, "Save the whales! Save the whales! Save the whales!" Now it'll be a new round, and Stoic, it's your turn.
I'm sorry Aris is missing this, or Charles.
Don't the sailors get a turn?
They're busy rowing forward.
If the whales move forward so they're 20 feet away, the sailors, they move it forward, and when they get close enough, I'm going to do a lunging attack, which is a combat maneuver, which gives me an extra 5 feet. So when we get 10 feet away, I can do a lunging attack to strike it.
Okay. They take the boat forward 10 feet, and it's 10 feet away, but it's not your turn yet, unless you've got some kind of special, like a reaction attack or something like that.
Well, I was holding, so...
Okay. You were holding. Okay.
I held so when it got close enough, I could do the lunging attack.
Okay, you're within 10 feet of it, just barely.
Yeah. 14.
That will hit. Well, you're within 10 feet of the whale. Actually, Claude's a little further back if it matters.
You going for Claude or going for the whale?
Going for the whale because I don't think I can hit Claude
Yeah.
because he's about 20 feet up on top of the whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, that's the wrong die. I could add a superior die to that. Ooh, that is 15 damage.
Okay, let's see. You definitely cut into it, and some blood comes pouring out.
Aim for
And
the ropes.
now it would be top of the round, and Stoic, it's your turn. And 10 feet away from the front of the boat is this big, massive whale head, and it's starting to open its mouth, which looks big enough to swallow the whole boat.
Okay, I'm just gonna aim another bolt at Claude.
Okay.
And another streaks past and misses him.
Well, what'd you get all together?
AC 11.
Oh, you just barely miss him this time. It goes past him. And Helm, it'll be your turn now.
I'm going to do another lunging.
Okay. The sailors are jumping out of your way.
Yeah. I rolled a 6.
Do you have any pluses to hit?
No, I rolled a 2.
Oh, okay.
I got a 6.
Now you got some water in your eye that time, and that made you miss. And now it's their turn. And Claude's going to shout out, "Save the whale! Kill the humans!" And the whale is going to open its mouth really big. And, ooh, good gosh. It gets a natural 20. Fortunately for you guys, the whale was not trying to bite anything made of flesh. Instead, what it was trying to do was bite at the boat you're in.
It's a good thing I took off the armor.
Yes, it is. Okay. It's going to be a close one.
Just so people know, I know not to wear heavy armor on boats. I've been in more than one adventures where I've been attacked by merfolk. So when I confirmed that there aren't, because the last adventure there were shark people, I was making sure there weren't shark people on this one. So when there wasn't shark people, I took off the armor. That's...
Okay, it bites a sizable chunk. It comes up with its mouth open and sort of dives down. And its mouth bites into the side of the keelboat and takes out a sizable chunk of it. And sailors are screaming and jumping back from it and almost going over. And the splash lifts the boat up. You guys will need to make dexterity rolls to stay in the ship. And the sailors all make it.
I got a 19.
Oh, you're okay.
I get a 1.
You got a 1. Okay, you get their Stoic, our dwarf, gets thrown out of the boat into the water where he starts to sink at least some, unless he's got some swimming skills. And the boat is not... the whale is moving on after it takes its bite out of the side, and the boat is not sinking, but it's...
Does that mean I get an attack of opportunity?
You can have an attack of opportunity. In fact, you'll even pass Claude, but he'll be about 10 feet above you.
Is it not paying attention to me?
What, the whale?
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. I mean, it knows where you're at, but it's just kind of. I mean, it's a great big large beast. It's going on past you.
I'm just asking because I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. Then no, it's not paying attention to you. Getting shook up in the boat. There is definitely water coming into the boat now, and one of the side rails is gone. It's just not there anymore, and what's left of the boat feels kind of shaky. Stoic, give me a perception roll. You're underwater for the moment, but
14.
okay. You will hear this, and Helm will definitely hear this and see something as the whale is shushing on by at just about full speed. The sailors are too freaked out to attack at the moment, but with Stoic going underwater, Claude starts fumbling with the ropes that are like around his waist. And he's like, "Hold on, dwarven brother, I will save you." And as the whale moves past, actually, we'll just go back into rounds. Stoic, it would be your turn. You're underwater at the moment, but
Are there any trailing ropes or anything like that? I mean, or are they all?
They're
shape?
all secured around the whale, pretty tight.
Okay, there's nothing.
You could try grabbing onto the whale.
Or any little. There are things. Seaweed sort of grows from whales and things like that as well. I mean, there's all sorts of things. I'm going to try and grab onto the whale.
Okay. Give me. Just make it an attack roll. You can have proficiency with it or whatever.
No, it's not very good.
Okay, your hands slip along the back of it and doesn't make it. And like I said, you're not far underwater. It's just, I mean, you could probably even, if you want to try swimming, you could do that. You've not been under long enough to really be worried too much. Helm, it will now be your turn.
Is the whale still in range?
It's about 30 feet away from you now.
Okay, then I'm going to have to carefully drop the great halberd in the boat to pick up the crossbow.
Okay, you can do that. You going to shoot at it?
Yeah.
You going for the whale or for Claude?
For Claude, because I got the range for that. But I rolled another natural 1.
Okay, the arrow goes off into the water. Meanwhile, the sailors are trying to keep the boat afloat, and they're also actually reloading crossbows. And the whale continues forward another 40 feet, and then starts turning around like it's coming back towards you guys. But before it does that, Claude actually unties himself and makes a really ugly, I hate to even call it it's not even really a dive. Actually, Stoic, if you saw this, you would almost be proud of him. It's like he was going to make some beautiful elven dive into the water, but then the last second is like feet trip out from underneath him, and he does a good old dwarven belly flop right into the ocean.
Dwarven nature reveals itself.
Yes.
Oh, good. Nurture can only get that far against nature.
And he plops right down into the ocean in his leather armor. Let's see, the sailors are busy doing their thing. Okay. Back to the top of the round, Stoic, it's your turn.
Stoic will try and life save Claude. He'll swim up and try and sort of get one arm round his neck, and start dragging him towards our ship. A grapple roll while swimming.
Sure, give me a grapple roll.
If I can get to him.
Yeah, you can get to him.
I mean, I'm guessing it. We'll both be at disadvantage, so we'll cancel each other out. So it'll just be a straight grapple, I guess.
Okay.
I get a 16.
You've got him. Just barely, but you've got him.
Don't worry, Claude, I've got you.
Helm, it's now your turn. You can see the dwarves are hugging one another in the water.
I'm going to spend my action to reload the crossbow.
Okay. It's now the bad guy's turn again, and the whale is coming back. And it's going to try to take another bite on something. Oh! It opens its mouth and it chomps, but the sailors are good enough just at the last second to jerk the boat out of the way, and the whale just misses, and it keeps on going forward. So the sailors are dealing with that. Stoic, it's your turn again. The boat is, even though it looks like it's getting ready to fall apart, the boat is actually a little closer to you now since the sailors jerked it around.
So I'm going to continue my sort of grappled doggy paddle sort of non-proficient swim in the direction of the boat, dragging this dwarven prisoner.
Actually, give me an athletic roll, but with advantage, because you will find that despite his initial action, he is not fighting you, but is actually trying to help you now.
Oh, in that case, I get a 19.
Yeah, you've got your heads above water, and you're right there next to the boat. Helm, it's your turn now.
Oh.
So you see the two dwarves?
Yeah, he sees.
Grab him, helmsman.
I'm conflicted between chaotic and good. Good wants me to help him onto the boat. Chaotic wants me to shoot him because he attacked us.
Oh yes, he did. I'm not. I'm not here to help him. I'm here to capture him.
Okay, then I'm going
you
to.
You can kill him if you like, but
no, I'm going to.
I had my hands full. I only had one option.
I'm going to holding onto the crossbow, not firing it, but I'm just going to hold on to it and try and pull Stoic out of the water.
Okay, give me an athletics roll.
Oh, that is a 12.
Okay, you're holding on. You can't with one hand because your other hand's got the crossbow in it. You can hold on to him and keep him from going back under, but you can't quite pull him back up. On the bad guys' turn, actually Claude will try to help pull him and Stoic up into the boat, but doesn't seem able to do it on his own. And the whale is continuing on forward about 80 feet, and then looks like it's turning around. And actually a couple of sailors will reach down, and they will help, and everybody kind of working together, Stoic, Helm, Claude, and the sailors. You guys can all pull Stoic and Claude up into the boat. However, with the new weight now, and the damage, there is a lot more water that's starting to come into the boat. Though it's not technically sinking yet, it is starting to get a good bit of water in the bottom of it. And just sort of while we're in rounds, go back to the top, and Stoic, it's your turn again. You're in the boat.
Because I haven't decided what I'm going to do once I get into the boat. I'll just headbutt. I won't release my grip on. I won't release my grip on Claude. I'll just headbutt him. I'll just grab my hammer and sort of hit him with the side of the hammer against his head, trying to knock him unconscious.
Okay, give me a roll to hit.
One. Natural one.
You go to do it, and you miss him, and you actually hit the bottom of the boat and punch a little hole, and more water's coming in. And by the way, Claude has now, after he jumped into the water, he did lose his little green hat with the red feather in it. Helmet's...
Well, at least one good thing has come out of this fight.
Helm, it's now your turn.
I am going to hold the crossbow to him and say, this is where this stops. You can't just do these things because you think your way is better. And I'm going to hold action. If he tries to make any aggressive moves, I'm going to shoot him.
Okay. On his turn, he doesn't attack or anything. He kind of looks up at Stoic and says, well, that's the thanks I get for saving your life. You trying to bash my brains out. And he looks up at you, Helm, and he's like, oh, you're giving me ethical lectures? Meat eater?
Oh, you need to have some sense beaten into you, I say, attacking him again.
Okay, just real quick, the whale is staying about 80 feet out and is starting to circle the boat, and the sailors are busy. They've got some buckets, and they're throwing water out to keep you guys afloat. So, Stoic, yeah, you can go ahead and hit him again.
18.
Oh, that's definitely a hit.
So, 1 point of non-lethal, just sort of...
Ow!
Wouldn't you get your strength modifier on that?
My strength modifier is 0.
Oh.
Yes, and he used it. Helm, it's now your turn. Your partner kind of seems to be wailing away with his warhammer on the weird dwarf.
Can I take the rope that I'm tied to the boat to and tie up the dwarf?
If you put down the crossbow and make an acrobatics check, sure.
No. I'll just make the suggestion. Might be easier just to tie him up and keep my hold action on him.
It won't give me as much satisfaction.
And on his turn, he's like, well, I'm not just going to lay here and let you beat me up and like strangle with me with ropes, and he's going to throw a punch at you, Stoic.
And that's when I fire at him.
And he misses, and go ahead and roll your... His fist just like sort of hits off the side of your chest or whatever and doesn't do anything.
God damn it, it's another one.
This is a classic day for ones.
Is this like your third one with that crossbow?
Technically, it's the fourth one I've rolled so far.
Yeah.
Throw that crossbow away, it's cursed.
You don't need to. The string on that crossbow breaks. and I will suggest other dice, maybe.
I did change dice. I only have 2. I've rolled ones on both of my d20s. I might as well just start using dice stream.
Yeah, that's why I don't like dice stream. Okay, so you fire an arrow, the crossbow string breaks, the arrow flops over into the ocean, and at this point, Claude is going to try to grapple with you, Stoic. So
have I still got him in the grapple? As I imagine my life-saving grapple, I've sort of held on to that all the time. So he's trying to break free.
He's trying to break free.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, he got a pretty good roll too. So
yeah, my roll. I mean, I'm just on straight. I get a 10.
Yeah, he breaks free of your grip. And he's going to try to roll over into the water, but you guys will have an attack opportunity on him.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll hit him again with my warhammer then.
Okay.
A natural 20.
Oh, okay.
What do you do? 2 dice?
Yeah, roll it twice.
11 points of non-lethal.
Wow, that's a pretty good hit. From behind.
I'm going to hit him with my greatsword.
Okay.
That is an 11.
That would actually be a miss. But I'm going to give you advantage on it because you sort of have him from behind because he was rolling away from you. So you can roll one more time.
Okay, that's 23.
That will hit.
Yeah. That is 11 plus. That's 15 points of damage.
Wow. Okay. You both hit him pretty hard, and blood goes flying, and he just sort of falls over into the water and starts sinking down with a bunch of blood in the water. And at that point, the whale that's in the distance, that's been staying 80 feet from you guys, it bellows out this huge horn-like sound. Its front end kind of comes up and then splashes down and dives and takes it all the way underwater, and it disappears.
Keep an eye on that whale, on that shadow, I say. But I'll try and grab hold of Claude and pull him back into the boat.
Give me a grapple roll.
2.
Nah, he slips through. He's in the water now. Yeah. He slips through your fingers, and he's sinking down.
And gets out of my reach.
And you can tell, as you do so, you can tell he's not moving.
Okay.
He's no longer swimming or fighting. He's just
having missed him grabbing. I'll go over the side of the boat and start swimming after his body.
Okay, Helm, what do you want to do as he does this?
I'm going to grab another crossbow and try and load it.
Okay, you can do that. Stoic, underwater, it's a little hard to see because it's splashing around and stuff, and you're not used to seeing underwater, and Even with your vision, you're a dwarf, and it's unnatural to be able to see underwater because you shouldn't even be doing that. You do see just like a few feet head in front of you. You see Claude sinking and sinking and sinking, and as you're swimming in his direction, suddenly right there in front of you is a great big giant whale. And it opens its mouth really big and wide and then clamps down on Claude.
Can I grab Claude at the same time? Or
You can. If you roll bad enough, you might lose a hand.
I'll see what happens.
Or worse.
I've rolled one. This is classic.
Okay, you're reaching in for Claude.
I thought we were going to go into a Pinocchio kind of thing,
Yeah.
where we're stabbing
Anyway,
him from the inside.
And this,
Anyway, go on.
you reach for Claude, you're almost to him, and this giant whale's mouth slams shut. Give me a constitution roll.
I mean, I'm a dwarf, so I'm better at this. But who knows? I might get a 1 again.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
20.
Oh, okay. You still take 10 points of basically bludgeoning damage as this giant mouth closes on your hand and like crushes your fingers some. And now, here's the bad part. I want you to also give me a dexterity save. And believe me, if you'd gotten less than that 20, it would have been a worse situation.
Oh, I did quite well on my dex save. 16.
Okay. For a second, as the mouth closes on Claude and your hands, the whale turns underwater to go away, and for just a couple of seconds, you're pulled along with it, but then your hand slips out between its teeth, and you're free. And the whale dives down deep. Away from you. But your
Did
roll.
Did I get a handful of Claude's hair in the end of my
No,
in my hand? Can I have something? Can I have some memento of Claude?
As you pull your hand back and it's paining you, you see a little green hat floating in the water right in front of your eye.
Oh, I'll take the green hat. Yes.
Okay.
Claude's green hat.
But the whale disappears into the depths of the ocean.
I better start swimming for the surface.
Okay. I won't even make you roll for that. You can get up to the top, but your hand is messed up pretty bad for the time being. But you're a cleric. You think some decent magic will be able to take care of it. So Helm, you see Stoic come back up with a bad hand and a little green hat.
I drop the crossbow and I pull him into the boat.
Now I know why dwarves never go to sea.
And one of the sailors will point and say, "Look." And even though you guys are a good ways away, you can tell that the other whales that were attacking the ship are all starting to dive under the water and to go away.
They're never going to believe this fishing story when I get back.
But Eros would probably be happy to hear it.
His friend Claude is still alive.
Actually,
Too bad he had that freak that all of a sudden he had taken to bedside all of a sudden. Otherwise, he would have been really happy.
What, arrows?
Yeah. Yeah, he's back at the guild hall doing what you were doing on the boat.
And he didn't even have to get on the boat for it. That's what you should have done, Stoic. You should have got sick before getting the boat. Then they wouldn't have made you.
Did my best.
Yep. And you guys do see that the ship, even though it's still leaning to one side, it's slowly in the distance turning in your all's direction. And the sailors you're with are going to try to turn your boat in that direction.
I'm going to use this time to rewrap my weapon so I can sling it over my back because there's no way for me to carry it any other way.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. It's considering how much damage the boat has taken and how much damage the ship has taken, you're going to be on the water for at least an hour as the two vessels get back together.
And after I got that done, I'm just going to, as they're going to row, I'm just going to pitch water.
Okay. That will definitely help.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
And, after an hour, you guys get back to the ship, and ropes are lowered, and the sailors with you connect the ropes to the keel boat you're in, and it gets pulled up. And actually, your weight and the weight of the keel boat straightens the larger ship a little bit, so it's not leaning quite so bad, but it's still leaning some. And Captain Shinfistle's like, well, we fought them off as best we could. What did you fellas do out there to get them all to go away?
We dealt with the leader, like any battle.
The leader? What was it, like another giant whale or something?
An elven dwarf.
Oh, a monstrosity.
Even one of the sailors is just like shaking his head like, Captain, you're never going to believe it. You're never going to believe it. And the captain's like, what was it? Was it like a kraken? Mind flayers? Beholders? What was it? And the sailors are like, scarier than that.
It was worse
We can't even describe it.
I'm going to untie myself from the boat, and I'm going to tie my armor to my backpack so I don't lose it.
Okay. You can do that. The captain's like, well, we need to head back inland, get this ship there before it goes down. Do you fellows think the whale threat is over? Or...
I don't know. We lost Claude in the water. I have no idea what happened. I left I took a pretty good chunk out of his back, so I have no idea.
He was taken by the whale. I don't know if that's the last we've seen of this problem.
You do know Stoic does know you didn't see him move anymore after that.
Yes, he was. We took him down, but we ran him. I'd be surprised if he survived, but he survived. I was surprised to see that he survived last time. So who knows?
Mm.
He's not wimpy like an elf. He's got a dwarven resilience about him. But,
well, that's pretty much the only dwarven thing about him.
Yeah, it's the only dwarven thing about him.
Hey, he did fall into the water like a dwarf. You got to give him that.
He did. He fell feet first. Good on him.
Okay. Well, the captain's going to have the ship head inland, and he's like, well, he goes, I guess we can...
Did you lose any barrels?
No, we didn't lose any barrels.
Phew. Good.
I don't believe so. We shouldn't
I'll go
have.
and check, see if my armor's still stowed on the deck.
It's still there. It's been tied down good and well. He's like, well, we're not going to make any. We're not going to make any money this trip because we didn't get any of the whales, but we did hurt several of them quite badly, and it looks like you did your share damage to one or two of them. But I guess I can get back to shore and have.
One thing I know about Claude is you never see him in the same place twice.
So you know his name. You know who he is.
You could say there's history. I wouldn't say there's good history. There's history.
Okay.
He had some issues in Illumina. We had him as a driver. That's all I pretty much know about him.
He was scarred or brainwashed by a strange elven cult.
Well.
A little tip: if you ever see a dwarf with a green hat with a red feather, stab him.
You mean like your friend here?
No, that's if you ever see a dwarf with a hat like that.
Wearing it, not
wearing
carrying
it.
it as a trophy.
Wearing it. Okay.
You're not going to see me wearing this, I say.
Okay.
If you see a dwarf wearing that kind of hat, he's there to cause you trouble.
Pin him down, and force meat into him until he sees sense. Eat, make him eat.
Well, he's a dwarf. We don't usually have to force meat down a dwarf's throat.
He's a vegetarian.
Oh. Which?
Wait a second. A vegetarian dwarf?
I've studied religion, but even I had to look up this one. It's somebody who doesn't eat meat.
He takes druid philosophy to the extreme.
Oh, so that makes sense. He was trying to protect these whales or something, or turn them against us.
Yeah, but if you don't reduce the numbers of the whales, then there's not going to be any fish left in the sea.
So you're taking his side.
That's how the circle of life works.
Well, tell the fancy ladies to quit paying so much for their little whalebone corsets and their fancy oils and perfumes and everything, and then we wouldn't have to come do this. But, as is, I'll take Matilda here in, get her refitted, then we'll set back out with a couple of ships, and if we're not attacked anymore, I guess things will be good, be safe around here now. Sounds like this, whatever he was, I hate to use the word dwarf, because it's an insult to dwarves. Whatever
is.
This Claude,
this mutation.
This Claude seems like he was doing something or controlling the whales. Is he like some powerful mage or something?
I think he's a ranger. I remember someone saying something that when they were looking for him the first time, he was classified as a ranger.
I have no idea. He's insane. That's all I know.
Okay, a ranger with whales. Okay. I guess I've heard it all now. All right. Well, we will head back to Illumina then. It's going to take about half the day. We have to travel a little slower. And
do I manage to finish the gauntlets?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, okay.
You've got plenty of time to.
And I'll patch up my hand as best I can.
Yeah.
I go over to Stoke and I say, "Do you need me to reset those bones?" And I'm just cracking my knuckles.
Yeah, actually, it'll be easier with somebody with two hands, and I'll just instruct him
So
They actually.
I just grab his hand and just push.
and I'll instruct him where to push because I've got medicine.
Okay. I was going to say they actually do have like a ship healer, somebody who's he's not got any magic, but he does have some medical know-how and training and can help.
Then I'll thank Hel for his suggestion, but I'll go to the ship's healer and use him to aid me.
Okay.
So actually, I get a 21 in that case on the healing. So I set them well.
Okay. And he's like, yeah, this is a better job than. Normally, I usually just give them a bottle of rum, let them get about half drunk, and then cut it off, whatever it is.
Yeah, I've got different techniques myself.
Well, I keep saying we need to buy a store of healing potions, but the captain doesn't want to spend money on that.
I think I probably do need some rum though. Rum's a good prescription.
Okay, actually, the quote-unquote doctor will give you a little flask, and he's like, this is what I carry for medicinal purposes. You can hold on to this the rest of the trip.
Yeah, well, you had to reset 5 fingers, and resetting anything is painful, so you would have to do that 5 times.
Oh, yes.
Well, the rum will make you feel a little better, that's for sure. And they will get you back to Illumina, and the captain will see you guys off the vessel, and will give each of you 50 gold.
I'll pay. Is 5%? Is it 10%? I mean, to the guild.
10%.
He'll tell you you don't have to pay that. He's got that covered. He has already paid a guild when he percentage, so to speak, when he contracted with them. So you guys won't have to do that this time.
Then.
And you are back in Illumina, and he hopes things will go well with the whales. If they do not, he will be contacting you again, or he will be contacting the guild again. And hopefully
I remind him one last time, if dwarf with the hat, stab him.
Stab him. I don't even know what to call this thing. It's unnatural. And he'll thank you for your aid, and he'll go back to the ship. You guys are in Illumina if there's anything you want to do.
I go back to the guild hall and give my report, tell him what happened, and I leave the gauntlet saying this is for the mysterious monk I have yet to meet. A little gift. And I hand off the gauntlets to... is there someone there, or is it just a page, or...
Yeah, there can be like a servant, somebody there who can take it for you and knows a place to put it in safekeeping.
I heard he got some money from another job. You can just put this with that.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I'll go to a little carpenter's and have a little wooden trophy shield made with Claude's hat attached to it, and a little sign saying the top of a Claude, and have that hung in the Unnamed Adventurers Guild Hall.
And then when he comes back after buying all that, I say, don't we have a thing already out front that you can tie your horse to in name of Claude?
Do we?
Yeah.
From when Eros dropped them into the ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got another one. We've got another one then.
And I go up and see how Eros is doing, see if he's feeling better.
Okay.
and go tell him how we ran into Claude again.
Oh gosh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will love to hear about that from his sick bed. But okay, well, gentlemen, it's pretty much. It only took a couple of hours, but it's pretty much done with the adventure. But if there's anything else you want to do in Illumina real quick, let me know.
Nah, I don't have anything to do in Illumina.
Okay. Otherwise, I will. Wow, we've actually got a couple of viewers. Otherwise, I will take us out of broadcast in a second here. And thank you all out there who are currently watching and those who might be watching in the future. This has been another gaming session with the Unnamed Adventurers Guild, and look forward to other adventures in the future. Adios.